Mataji. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajas. This is Anuradha Devi Dasi from Dallas, Texas.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Anuradha Mataji, for joining and giving your beautiful association this morning. And we are waiting to hear your class, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. This is Shama Gauri Devi Dasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Sham Gauri Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. And thank you so much for your chanting, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karna Devi Dasi from Lincoln.
Hare Krishna, Indulekha Karna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your sweet association, and all glories to your services, Mataji. Hari Bol.
All glories to all the devotees and all glories to your special services, Mataji.
Hari Bol, Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves before we start the recording? Okay. I cannot say Anuradha Mataji. Anuradha Mataji, your screen is black for me. I mean, your camera is black for me. Oh, she lost the connection? She lost the connection. Okay, we can wait for another minute. Let Mataji join back. Hare Krishna, is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Sonu Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining and giving the association. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna. So we will be waiting for Mataji. Mataji's connection has lost, I guess. She'll be coming back. Until then, if somebody wants to introduce themselves, they can please go ahead and introduce. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Sorry.
Now we can hear you. We lost.
No, you can hear me, but I don't have internet connect. I mean, the Wi-Fi got lost, Mataji, and I'm calling you from my cell. But the presentation is on my laptop, so I'm trying to get in. Let me try for somewhere. Otherwise, I'll speak from here, and I don't know how will I show you the presentation, Mataji. So
no worries, Mataji. Take your time. We will
give me 2 minutes. Yeah, I don't know why.
Yes, I will chant the round.
Yes, thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Yes, Mataji, you are ready?
Yes, can I share the screen?
Yeah, I will give you the rights, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji, we can see this PPT.
Can you hear me, Mataji?
Yes, I can hear you. I can see your presentation. Everything is fine, Mataji. So we will start the recording, Mataji. Is that okay? Again, Mataji got disconnected. Okay, we take join. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Mataji, if you have a difficulty, you can send the PPT to me. I can share it for you.
Oh, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, let me send it, Mataji. It's in my
Send it
laptop.
to the WhatsApp, Mataji, please.
Yes. Yeah.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Yes, Priti Mataji, you are speaking, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, I sent it. Hare Krishna.
Oh, you sent it to me? Okay, Mataji.
Yeah, WhatsApp, Mataji.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know why. Internet is. Meanwhile, I'll do recite the prayers. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana.
One second, Mataji. From where I can hear my Hare Krishna mantra, I don't know.
Mataji, it might be the live. Facebook live.
Yes, Sindhu Mataji, you are right. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, recording. I just record again. I'm so sorry. Hare Krishna, I welcome everybody to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Anuradha Mataji to enlighten us on the topic of teachings of Lord Chaitanya, chapter 21. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for your time and association this morning. Thank you. Please take over the call, Mataji. Hari Bol.
Thank you so much, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. I don't know what's wrong with the internet. I'll try to speak from here from my phone. So please bless me and pray for me that it goes smooth now and we don't stop till the time. We'll say the prayers. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Begging at the lotus feet of my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada and all the Vaishnavas and the Guru Vargas, that may I speak few words in glorification of our dear Gaur Sundar, for the purification of myself and for the pleasure of all the assembled Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpataru vyascha kripa sindhu vevacha patita nam pavni vaishnave namo namo mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripa tamaham bande Shri Guru Deenataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So we are doing the chapter number. Can you do the PPT, Mataji? Can you start the PPT, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, give me 1 minute.
Yeah. So I would, in the beginning, I would like to beg all of your forgiveness. It's like, Bhakti Sangha is being like a mother and giving them, the mic to a child. And I'll be saying something, please, I beg forgiveness that I have no knowledge about this subject matter. Whatever I've been hearing, I would repeat. So please forgive me if it is not much beneficial to you, but please tolerate me. And thank you so much for assembling here. Thank you so much. So we'll start. So this is the chapter. I'll give little history and then, I'll try to give a framework for the chapter. So this is chapter 21. And this is like when the Mayavatis finally got converted, or they're convinced now. And what has been happening is like, when Mahaprabhu was in Banaras, he was like, he was chanting and dancing and seeing these, the Mayavadis. They were like, they were making fun. They were feeling very uncomfortable by Mahaprabhu's just being there and being on the streets and singing and chanting and dancing. And so there was this Brahmana person, and he invited all these Mayavadis and Mahaprabhu also, because he could not take it anymore how they were blaspheming Mahaprabhu. And now Mahaprabhu being there, as Kirtida Sundari Mataji beautifully narrated the chapter. So this particular chapter of teachings of Lord Chaitanya, chapter 21, Mataji, the second slide, Mataji, please. The teachings of Lord Chaitanya, chapter 21. It has it is comprising 2 chapters from Chaitanya Charitamrita. The first one is Adi Lila, chapter 7. And the second one is Madhya Leela, chapter 25. Portions of it. It is not the entire chapter, giving a framework so that you understand like where are we talking from. Apart from teachings of Lord Chaitanya, these are the 2 chapters that is included for today's presentation. So now Mahaprabhu goes there, and then as we know, he just, he goes there, he sits where everybody washes their feet, and others are sitting separate, and he's sitting in this place which is not clean, to show, he represents humility, Mahaprabhu. And at this point in time, they get to see the effulgence that comes out of Mahaprabhu's body. And they feel, he is Narayan himself, and they start calling him, and he comes and sits and request him to sit with them. And when Mahaprabhu goes there and sits there, they ask him, like, you are like, you have taken sannyas in our sampradaya, in Mayavad. So why are you not talking about Vedanta philosophy and leaving this all? You are dancing and chanting. Why so? And that's when Mataji was explaining how Mahaprabhu gives, like how Ishwara Puri gave him the Mahamantra, and how he was feeling gad with all the ecstasies and stuff like that. And Ishwara Puri is so happy and bless him. And then Mahaprabhu also speaks about Hare Nama verse. And after hearing all this, the Mayavadis, they're saying, okay, this is wonderful. We understand the importance of chanting, dancing. Now, why don't you also speak and be with us and discuss the philosophy? And at this point of time, they're requesting Mahaprabhu to give his interpretation. And Mahaprabhu will give the interpretation now. And it has 2 sections. So I will tell you when when Mahaprabhu is speaking. After that, when Mahaprabhu leaves, then again there are more conversation, and then the end of this chapter. So that's the main framework of this chapter. And so we will get to discuss actually Chaitanya Charitamrita. We will discuss Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and of course the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So we will start. Mataji, is this the first slide in yours? Because that's not the first slide in mine. Is this the one in yours? Yeah, maybe. I have one more slide before that. So I will anyway speak of.
This is the one.
Okay, maybe I did not save the latest one. So that's why it's okay. So this is I'm referring to this here now. Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga, chapter 3, purport, chapter 3, verse 3, from the purport, Srila Prabhupada. It's a very, very famous quote that we have heard many, many times, where Srila Prabhupada says in the purport of Bhagavad Gita 3.3, that religion without philosophy is sentiment or sometimes fanaticism, while philosophy without religion is mental speculation. Now, this is a very, very profound statement and very applicable when it comes to Mayavadi. So if you see in Bhagavad Gita, when Srila Prabhupada and Krishna is speaking of something, sometimes karma yoga or, or buddhi yoga, but Prabhupada is in between putting Mayavad. Prabhupada always make us careful of two things. One is Mayavad, one is Sahajiya. And we are not supposed to be either of them. One is just having the philosophical understanding, other is having only the sentimental understanding. They are like, they do not read Bhagavad Gita, they don't want anything to do with scripture, they are just like sentiment, they do what they feel like. So we are neither supposed to be a Sahajiya, not supposed to be a Mayavadi, but we should be a devotee. A devotee is a combination of both. They understand, they are sentimental, but with understanding. And that's what we will learn from today. Moving ahead, that's a slide you have. I'll read from my laptop. I cannot read so small. So this is Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 7:134. So here, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus showed for each and every sutra the defects in Shankaracharya's explanation, all the assembled Mayavadi sannyasis were struck with wonder. And the points there, Mayavadi sannyasi, how I have framed this PPT is that each paragraph of teachings of Lord Chaitanya, and then again whatever is relevant, the verses. So that's how I have kept, if you're referring to the book. The Mayavadi sannyasis accept Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's explanation of Vedanta Sutra and request him to give further direct interpretation of Vedanta Sutra. Now, the word will be used as direct interpretation because what Mahaprabhu is giving is a direct interpretation, but what Shankaracharya gave was indirect, distorted, illusion. These are the word will be used for Shankaracharya as the explanation of Vedanta Sutra. And they are saying, now when they heard about yesterday, as Prabhu was saying, the explanation for Omkar, when they heard this, they were so happy. They wanted to know more of the philosophy, and in a direct way, then not the illusion covered way, no, not that way, but in a direct way. So on such request, Lord Chaitanya explains each and every aphorism of Vedanta Sutra according to their direct interpretation, starting with Brahman. Sorry. So it is explained even in the previous chapters of teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Brahman was being explained. And then Srila Prabhupada is writing, and of course the explanation of Mahaprabhu, that Brahman means the greatest. And when can you call a person a greatest? You can call a person greatest when he has all wealth, all fame, all strength, all beauty, all knowledge, all renunciation in complete. Only when he has everything. You will see some people are very rich, but they don't have as much knowledge. Some people have knowledge and very rich, but again, they don't have a mood of renunciation or may not have beauty. So somebody or something will happen, because of course, every living being is a part and parcel of the Lord. So they will have the characteristics and the features of the Lord, but they are not complete in themselves, right? But he who is complete is called Bhagavan, is also known as the Brahman. That was the narration given by Mahaprabhu. And now we know Krishna is as a king of Dwarka. He is all opulent. We know about his beauty. We also read a chapter, the beauty of Krishna, in this teachings of Lord Chaitanya and all this. But when it comes to all renunciation, we see Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 11, Text 36. There, the text says that, the shlokas verse says that when Krishna comes to Dwarka, this is the chapter when Krishna is returning back to Dwarka, and everybody is welcoming him and all this. You see opulence and everything there, all the other features. But when it comes to renunciation, we have to, it confuses our mind. How is Krishna a renunciate, who has so many wives and things like that, and between so many things, how is he a renunciate? But this text 1:11:36 says that when the queens of Dwarka, they were trying to agitate Krishna attract Krishna with their feminine features, not a bit of Krishna was agitated. Senses of Krishna was not at all agitated. Krishna was so, I mean, as he is, nobody can attract him like that way, like, of course, right? So nobody can agitate Krishna's senses. And then Prabhupada also in the purport, he mentions about Lord Shiva. He got agitated, who is known the all tolerant. His name is Shiva. He's the most tolerant one. Even his senses got agitated by seeing the form of Mohini Murti. But Krishna is such a Lord. He is the Lord. And that's why nobody is equal to or superior to him, because nobody can agitate his senses, not even the queens, who were so beautiful, who were so wonderful and so attractive. And still they could not agitate Krishna's senses. So that's how a Brahman is, or Bhagavan is. And Krishna's opulences are not mundane. They are not materially contaminated. They are free from material contamination. We'll go to the next slide, Mataji. Yeah, thank you. So Adi Lila, Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 7, 140. This is chapter 7. This is the chapter actually about 5 features, the Panchatattva. That's the chapter. So this is verse number 140. When we speak of the Supreme as when we speak of the Supreme as impersonal, we deny his spiritual potencies. Logically, if you accept half of the truth, you cannot understand the whole. Now, years back, I have heard, years as in 2-3 years back, I have heard Amarendra Prabhu's lecture, where he was giving a wonderful narration, where he was saying, suppose those are especially in Indian railway station, when we are kids, we will see the light of the train, and we'll say the train is here, so that, we all gather up, we have the baggage ready so that we can get into the train as soon as possible. So, but the light is not the train, is it? No, it is not the train. It's a symbol or a signal that train is coming, but it is not the train itself. Similarly, when sometimes we may miss out the light, and we may just see the engine, and we may see, okay, the engine is here, that is the train is here. But that is again not the train. When you see the entire, including the compartments, engine, and the headlight, all these 3 features together makes the train a train, right? Somebody seeing from the top of the bridge, he sees the entire train. So devotee's position is like that. But a Jnani, for him, the Brahma Jyoti is the one, is the entire Bhagavan for him. That's the position of a Mayavadi. It is not that the Brahma Jyoti is not Krishna. That is also Krishna, but Krishna has both impersonal and personal features. Like I met one Mataji back in beginning of my Krishna consciousness. I'm still a beginner, but even earlier. So she was saying to me that, one who is unlimited, how can he take birth? And first time when I heard, earlier I was reading Bhagavad Gita, which I did not understand at all. I still don't understand. But and then I was thinking, why Prabhupada is always talking about Mayavadi? Where are the Mayavadi? Everybody is devotee. Back in India, everybody is devotee. And we were here. And we went to, I was in Calcutta, and this Mataji said this. And then I understand, this is Mayavad. This is the first time I was encountering somebody who spoke Mayavad. And she said, and they were from a particular institution who are Mayavadis. And I didn't know she is from there, because when I heard she does not eat onion garlic, she has a very sattvic life. I was trying to pull her into Krishna consciousness. And then my mom said, you don't do that, because she belongs to an institution already. And then when she told me that, and I realized, this is Mayavadi concept, like, when he can be a Jyoti or he can be a light, how can he take a form? How can be the unborn take birth? And all this stuff she was telling me. And I was awestruck. Like, people can think like that too. So not that everybody is a devotee, and that's why Srila Prabhupada is warning us. It is very important for us to know the do's and don'ts. And the Mayavad is the don'ts, same as the Sahajiyas. Those are the don'ts. Until we know what are the don'ts, we may do it without realizing it. That's why Prabhupada is teaching us and training us through his books. Through his books, what Mayavadi philosophies are. So that's why we should be thorough so that we don't fall in trap. So then what continue? And Prabhupada also says that, I'll just read, this is from Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Wherever the word Brahman appears in the Vedas, it should be understood that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is indicated. An intelligent person, I will repeat, an intelligent person at once replaces the word Brahman with the name Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So whenever you see Brahman in all the Vedic scripture, an intelligent person will replace it with the name Krishna. So, yeah, and this example of the train that I have heard from Amrendra Prabhu, and also Srila Prabhupada gives the example of the sun globe, and the rays of the sun, then the surface and the globe itself. Similarly, the light, the engine, and the train itself. Like if you take $100 bill, $100 bill can be, so Krishna is Bhagavan Swayam. That's what Srimad Bhagavatam says, that Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Even Chaitanya Charitamrita says that Akele Ishwar Krishna Baki Sab Bhritya Jare Jai Chachar Shete Se Kare Nitya. Krishna is the only God and everybody is servant. And whomever and however he wants, he can make them dance. So it's like if you see the example of $100 bill, $100 bill will have a $5, $10, and like, of course, $100 is limiting Lord's potency. I'm just giving for the sake. So Krishna is Bhagavan. He is Bhagavan. And in this, he has Paramatma feature and his Brahmajyoti or impersonal feature too. It's devotee does not deny the impersonal feature, but in Mayavadi, he denies the personal feature of the Lord. So moving on, since the Supreme Brahman, the Supreme Personality of God, it is full with all varieties of spiritual energy, one who simply accepts the impersonal exhibition of spiritual energy does not accept the absolute in full. So we are taking an incomplete definition of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or Bhagavan or the absolute truth. That's an incomplete when we just take the impersonal features. To accept the Supreme in full is to accept the spiritual variegatedness, which is transcendental to the material modes of nature. So the features of the Lord, the potency of the Lord, they are not contaminated, even if when he takes birth in this material world. Moving on, by failing to accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the impersonalists are left with an incomplete conception of Brahman. So what knowledge they have about the Brahman is incomplete because they deny the aspect of personal feature of the Lord. This was from, next one. And then in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 7:140, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying what Ramanujacharya says in his Vedartha Sangraha. He says that the real identity of absolute truth must be understood in terms of both his knowledge and his characteristics. Simply to understand the absolute truth, to be full of knowledge, is not sufficient. That's what Ramanujacharya says, that you have to take the characteristics which the Mayavadis are denying and the knowledge which they are accepting. But still, if you take half truth, it is not the full truth, right? It is half still. Moving on. Next slide, Mataji. Devotional service. Now, this is very, very wonderful section of this is all still Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving his direct interpretation, his understanding to the Mayavadis, and who are listening still. They're still listening to Mahaprabhu in the assembly. And here, I'm saying it in advance, we will be learning about Sambandha, Avidya, and Prayojana, SAP. Right? It is. I'll give you it was very wonderful for me to understand. So I would say from where I am. So when you go to a work, there's something called job orientation. The first day or few days for a week or so, few companies, they do it for a week. They will, give an orientation. That's an introduction to the company. What is the company and things like that. They will get to know you. They will make you know the company and what is your duty towards the company or your responsibilities towards the company. So like that is the sambandha. When we re-establish our relationship with the Lord. And then you work, right? Then we work. that is the abhidaya, the process. The process itself is abhidaya, like when you work, and at the end of the month you get the salary, and that's the prayojana siddhi. You get the salary, right? So you have a sambandha through your orientation, then you work, your work itself, the process, abhidaya, and prayojana is the final salary. So that's how sambandha, abhidaya, and prayojana works. So yes, yeah. Vaishnava philosophers, on top it says devotional service is abhidaya. We will understand the process of understanding Krishna is what abhidaya is. Vaishnava philosophers not only know in details about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but also know how to approach him directly. So they not only know that who Lord is, like Srila Prabhupada will say, you come and ask us. We not only say, like they'll say some culture, some religion, they will say God is great. But there is something beyond to it. So that's what they say, that Vaishnava philosophers, they not only say who Lord is, not only his home address and everything, but how to reach, how to serve, and how to please him. That is being told by the Vaishnava philosophers. The 9 kinds of devotional service are hearing about Krishna, chanting about him, remembering him, offering service to his lotus feet, offering him worship in the temple, offering prayers to him, working as his servant, making friendship with him, and unreservedly surrendering to him. And of all this, all of which, amongst all, hearing is the chief. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 22:107, this is not given in either of the books. This I just remembered from one of the lecture of His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj, and I remembered, so I just put it there so that we can relate it. It says that Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhu Kabhu Noy Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Koraye Udoy. It says the pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of the living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, this love naturally awakens. So what is it saying? That we sing in Srila Prabhupada's Aarti, that Guru Puja, we sing that Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito. It reveals, the knowledge will be revealed in our heart. And how? Through hearing and chanting. Through hearing and chanting, our heart will get contamination free. It will get purified slowly. And as it gets cleared, as we see our face on the dusty mirror, as the mirror gets cleared, we start seeing little by little glimpse of ourselves. Similarly, as our contamination start getting purified through hearing and chanting, which is the process, which is abhidaya, this knowledge will be revealed in our heart. Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito. This will be revealed in our heart. That's Divya Gyan, the knowledge. And similarly, this love naturally awakens. It is not something artificially that you can claim, oh, I have done so much of devotion, I want it now. No, we cannot artificially claim. It will automatically, organically, it will awaken in our heart. Next slide, Mataji. Thank you. Okay. So CC Adi 7:142 says, in the purport, it says that by the practice of devotional service, beginning with hearing and chanting, the impure heart of a conditioned soul is purified. And thus he can understand his eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This eternal relationship is described by Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Jiver Swarup Hoy Krishna Nitya Das. The living entity is eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When one is convinced about this relationship, which is called sambandha, he then acts accordingly. This is called abhidaya. So the relationship is established, that is sambandha, and you act accordingly, like all of us are trying, right? Chanting, hearing, to be in the process, trying to serve the lotus feet of the Lord in the temple, and trying to be his, servant, and trying to serve the deities and the devotees. So these are all the process. It's a part of the process which is called abhidaya. And the next step is prayojana siddhi, or fulfillment of the ultimate goal of one's life. if one can understand his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and act accordingly, automatically his mission, which is the love of Godhead, in life is fulfilled. So once we have our sambandha clear, like Jivesh Swarup Krishna Nityadas, we all are the eternal servants of the Lord of Krishna, then we will act accordingly. When we only know we are servant, if we think ourselves as a master, we will act in a way, and that will throw us out of the process. But if we act in a way, when we understand we are the eternal servant of the Lord, we will act as a servant. We have to know, if we know I'm a mother, I will act as a mother. If I know I'm a father, I will act as a father. So this understanding of sambandha, our relationship with Krishna, is so important, because only when we understand ourselves with Krishna's, in respect with Krishna, then only we can act accordingly. And then this acting accordingly is called abhidaya. And when these two are done, the prayojana, the ultimate goal, the love of getting the love of Godhead, will automatically manifest. Moving on to the next slide. Yeah, this is Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 143. Krishnera charana hoy jodi anurag, Krishna binu anyatra tara nahi rahe rag. So one who develops this attachment towards Krishna's lotus feet, towards Krishna, he will not have any deviation. He will not look here, okay, let me little bit do puja of Kali, let me do little bit of puja of Lord Shiva. Shiva gives this, Kali gives that, and Indra will give me this. This deviation, like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, like Bahusakha is like there are so many branches, but a devotee is resolute. He is, focus Krishna, So once he has this understanding, or this love, or this attachment, this raga towards Krishna, he will not look here and there. He will be just focusing on Krishna. Moving on. So the fifth and the highest goal, like Kirtida Sundari Mataji so wonderfully was explaining, the Purushartha, the four goals of human life is dharma, artha, kama, moksha. And if you, even looking back in India, when you ask what is the highest goal of mankind, we always say mukti. That is moksha. Normally, we never get to know, until one comes to Krishna consciousness, we never get to know there's something called fifth highest goal, apart from this four, above the even liberation. And then it says that, but devotional service is situated on the platform on the platform above liberation, which is above mukti. In other words, when one is actually liberated or mukta, he can understand the meaning of love of Godhead, Krishna Prema. While teaching Rupa Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stated, Koti Mukta Madhya Durlava Eka Krishna Bhakta. Out of millions of liberated persons, one may become a devotee of the Lord Krishna. So in Bhagavad Gita also 7.3, Krishna says, Manushyanam Sahasreshu. Like out of so many living entities, few aim for the perfection, that is liberation. And in those also only one may know me in truth. So that's the rare position of a bhakta. Thank you, Mataji. The Supreme Lord, who is greater than the greatest, becomes submissive to even a very insignificant devotee because of his devotional service. This is CC 7, Adi 7, 145. Prema hoite Krishna hoy nij bhakta bash, prema hoite pai Krishna sevar sukharas. So it says that prem, that's the love for Krishna, makes Krishna submissive to even an insignificant devotee. And from this prema hoite pai Krishna, so from the love of God, ones get the devotional service. Now, one wonderful thing that I was observing, if you see how do we start our bhakti, they said to get the sambandha also, we have to do hearing and chanting. And what is the process? It is hearing and chanting. So before sambandha is hearing and chanting, abhidaya is hearing and chanting, and after prayojana, that is the prema, and then what you get devotional service, and devotional service is hearing and chanting too. So it starts with hearing and chanting, It continues as hearing and chanting, and it ends, it remains, it never ends, it eternally remains hearing and chanting the glories of Krishna. So it's so wonderful, this hearing and chanting process is. So as I think I have heard, of course, like the like 4 years or so back, her Grace Kalasuda Mataji was saying, it's like, bhakti is like the path is made with gold and the destination is also made of gold. So it is the same thing. It's just that, when you're on the job training, you are doing the same job. You are learning, but you are learning on the job, like the practicing doctors. They're just under the instruction of the senior doctors. So we here also, we are doing the same thing, what we will be doing, and we will continue to do so. And we will do eternally, but here under lots of rules and regulation, we are doing Vedi Bhakti under the guidance of so many other superiors and our Diksha Gurus and Shiksha Gurus. But this is what our life and soul is. This is what we want. Like Srila Prabhupada says, the goal of our chanting is to do more chanting. But now, like it is in the beginning, it is like I have to chant, and then it is I want to chant, and then it becomes I love to chant. So once you get prema, by getting prema, what will you get? By prema hoite pai Krishna seva shukaras. Once you get prema, once you get the love of Krishna, then only you will understand how pleasurable it is. How pleasurable it is to do service towards Krishna. Sukharas, the mellow of serving the Lordship. You will get that also from the prema, which is the ultimate goal of human life. Next one is CC Adi 7146. I'll just continue. Sambandha vidaya prayojana nama eitina artha sarva shutre paryavarasana. That's what we have explained already. Sambandha, abhidaya, and prayojana. Nam. These three things is the ultimate essence of every Vedic literature, every philosophy that is theist, every philosophy that is Vedic, all the Vedic sutras and the Smritis and the Puranas. The ultimate goal is to understand our relationship, sambandha, abhidaya, to continue in that relationship is the process, and prayojana, the ultimate goal of life, that is love of Godhead. Moving on. Now, all this while Mahaprabhu was speaking, and though it is not mentioned, but reading further, we understand. And now Mahaprabhu left that assembly. And after Mahaprabhu leaves the assembly, this Mayavadi philosophers are like awestruck. The entire Banaras now, they are into this conversation that has happened, that has taken place. And now they are talking. And now disciple, the chief disciple of Prakashananda Saraswati, who is mentioned to be as learned as his master, spiritual master, who is Prakashananda Saraswati, he speaks in that assembly. So now this is a section when he speaks. So he says that Shri Krishna Caitanya hoy Sakshat Narayan Vyasa Sutrera Artha Koren Oti Manoram. So he says that Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is himself, Sakshat, he himself is Narayan. And Vyasa Sutra Artha, he is giving the Vyasa Sutra, and he's making the Vyasa Sutra, the Vedanta philosophy, so pleasing, monoram. It's like, it's like heart melting. It is so pleasing. Upanishadero koren mukhartha vyakhyan shuniya pandita lokera juraya manokan. So Upanishads are being narrated. So mukhya artha, the main artha, the meaning of the Upanishads is so wonderfully being narrated by Mahaprabhu, that as soon as you hear it, your ear and your heart, it comes together. It feels so satisfied. It feels together. Shutra Upanishadera Mukhyartha Acharya Kalpana Kore Agraha Koriya. The leaving. So he is talking about their Acharya. Who is their Acharya? Shankaracharya. So Shankaracharya, what he has done, he left all behind the Shutra Upanishad, the whatever is the Mukhya Artha, the direct meaning, the direct interpretation of the sutras, he left those behind. And what he is doing Kalpana, he is doing imagination. And he is very excited. He is very eager to put that imagination, the illusionary understanding of the Vedanta forward. Moving on. Then he says that Acharya Kalpita Arthe ei Pandita Shune Mukhe hoy kore Hriday namane. Very beautiful. He's saying whatever Acharyas, the Shankaracharya's imaginary meanings, the Panditas, the philosophers, they listen and they say yes, hoy kore, yes, they say yes. But their heart, their Hriday, Namani, they do not agree. Their heart does not agree, but externally they say yes, yes, but internally they do not agree to it because it is not satisfying, it is not pleasing. Shri Krishna Caitanya Vakhya Drira Satyamani Kali Kale Shanya Samsara Nahi Jini. Then he says that in Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, whatever he is saying is Drira Satya, is the ultimate truth. And Kali Kale, in this age of Kali, sannyas, just taking sannyas is not enough, will not get you there. Hare Nama Shlokera Korila Vyakhan Shei Satya Shukadartha Parama Praman. As we had discussed, as Kirtana Sundari Mataji has discussed, that how Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Iva Kevalam was being told by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to these Mayavadi philosophers. And that's what the disciple is saying, that Hare Nama Shloker Jai Korila Vyakhan, the way he narrated the Hare Nama Shloka, Shei Satya Sukhadartha. It has meaning. See, it has meaning. It is not meaningless, but it is Sukhad Artha. It gives the meaning itself, makes us feel very pleased. It's very pleasing. Parama Pramana, and that's the ultimate evidence. Moving on. So, yeah, this is Madhya 2:25-30. Bhakti bina mukti nahi bhagavate koi kali kale nam bhashe sukhe mukti hoy. Bhakti bina mukti nahi, very obvious. Without bhakti, without devotion, there is no liberation. No devotion, no liberation. Bhagavate koi, the Bhagavad Purana says that there is no liberation without devotion. Kali Kali Nama Bhash. Nam Bhash, as we know, Nam Aparad, Nam Bhash, and Shuddha Nam. Nam Bhash is something like, you are just sneezing and you say, oh Krishna, or you are like laughing at somebody and you are saying Hare Krishna like that, and somebody make fun of us, the Hare Krishna people, like that. So those are called Nam Bhash. You don't intend to take the name of the Lord, but you just, for the sake of saying, you just said it. Even if one chants that way, the holy name, Kali Kale Nama Bhashe Shukhe Mukti. For them, liberation is so easy. Otherwise, there is no other way. So this is, then he quotes from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14-4. This is Brahmaji's prayer to Lord Krishna. And 2 years back, I had the great fortune to serve this verse on Bhakti Sangha Japa group. And I was also, and this is also right after Brahma Bimohan Leela. So yeah, here Brahmaji says, after he realized his mistake, he says that, my dear Lord, devotional service unto you is the only auspicious path. If one gives it up simply for speculative knowledge or the understanding that these living beings are spirit souls and the material world is false, he undergoes a great deal of trouble. He only gains troublesome and inauspicious activities. His actions are like beating a husk that is already devoid of rice. His labor becomes fruitless. So he's saying, without, again, stating the same point, that without devotion, there is no way. And we know the story, we know the story of Vishwamitra, how hard he was trying to become a Brahma Rishi. After seeing the power of Vashishta, he wanted to become the Brahma Rishi. And then every time, Indra feels very insecure when somebody is trying to become a Brahma Rishi or anybody of his level. So he sends so many apsaras, and then, towards the end, Trishanku comes. So every time he was trying, sometimes he got conquered by lust, once he got conquered by anger, and then finally, pride. So, but every time he was making the mistake, every time his what do you say, the penances and the austerities that he was doing, but every time he was falling down from there, it was coming back to zero. But Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that even if you do little bit of devotion, that never get abolished, that never goes away, it remains, and you start from where you left. That's the power of bhakti. And we see that Haridas Thakur, when he was chanting, he was allured by this Mataji and Hira Lakshahira, and then he was allured by Maya Devi herself. And then Maya Devi could not allure Haridas Thakur, rather she got allured, and then she sees this beautiful verse that, this Prema Bhakti, give me the name of, give me the holy name. And, and please make me go sway in the flood of holy names. She requests Haridas Thakur that way, give me this name, take me in shelter. That's what Maya Devi says. That's a power of devotion. That's a power of holy name. So that's what Brahmaji is saying. Moving ahead. Now the prayers by the demigod of for Lord Krishna in the womb, when before Krishna's birth. This is 10:2:32. They say that, "O lotus-eyed one, those who think they are liberated in this life, but who are devoid of devotional service to you, are of impure intelligence. Although they accept severe austerities and penances and rise to the spiritual position, to impersonal Brahman realization, they fall down again because they neglect to worship your lotus feet." So we see the same point, that without devotion, there is no other way, no other way, no other way. So he continues, this disciple of Prakashananda Saraswati, he continues. Brahma Shabde Kohe Shad Aishwarya Purna Bhagavan Tare Nirvishesha Sthapi Purnata Han. Brahma Shabda, as we were describing in the very beginning, Brahma has all, Brahma Shabda, Brahman, that is. Brahman has all the 6 opulences, right? All beauty, all power, all knowledge, all fame, like that. So it has, that makes him Purna Bhagavan. That's what says the first line. And then Tare Namani Nirvishesha Sthapi. But considering those features, keeping them away and establishing Nirvishesh, what we are doing, we are reducing the completeness of the God. That's what Ramanujacharya said, we have seen. And that's what, when you do not accept the personal feature along with the impersonal feature, we are reducing the Lord, the definition of the Lord. Shruti Purana kahe Krishnar Chit Shakti Vilas taha nahi mane pandita kare upahas. Shruti Purana, they are describing the nectarian pastime, the Leela of the Lord, which is Chit Shakti, eternal, blissful. But the Panditas, they do not, fall for it. They do not accept it, and they kare upahas. They make fun of it. They make fun of the devotees, like they make fun of the pastimes of the Lord. Chit Ananda Krishna Vigraha Maika Kori Mane Ei Bodo Papa Satya Caitanya Ravani. He is saying the Vigraha of the Lord, the deities of the Lord, they think it is made of material. So matter, it is made of matter. The Vigraha is made of matter. And so they consider it also a part of Maya. And ye bodo pap, this is a big offense. It's they're offended. That's why Mahaprabhu said Mayavadi Krishna Aparadhi, and Mayavadi Bhashya Shunle Hoy Sharbanash. So Mayavadi Krishna Aparadhi, we understand, and Mayavadi Bhashya Shunle Hoy Aparadh means when we hear the understanding, the interpretation of the Mayavadis, Hoy Sharbanash, we are doomed. So we should not hear the interpretation of the Mayavadi. So everything Krishna is not Krishna conscious. It might sound like when you go to India, they will have so many, Saptah, Bhagavad Saptah and all that stuff, but we don't know who's speaking. And by hearing, I forgot the verse, but Sanatana Goswami very beautifully says, even if it is Krishna katha, but if it comes from a non-devotee, a Vaishnava, it is like a sarpo uchishta. It is like a milk it is a nectar that has been touched by the lips of a snake. So that's why we should not hear from Mayavadis. So the next one is Krishna's personal form. So Krishna's personal form, Brahma's prayer for creative energy. This is Srimad Bhagavatam 3.993-4. And this is also quoted by this disciple of Prakashananda Saraswati. Lord Brahma, who perfectly realized the supreme personality of Godhead after meditating upon the Lord within the water of the Garbhodaka ocean, Brahma realized that the form of the Lord is completely spiritual. This is certainly a better understanding of the absolute truth than the impersonal understanding. And then this is also mentioned in teachings of Chaitanya Charitamrita, teachings of Lord Chaitanya. And it is also mentioned in this verse, is also mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita as well. This is like Avajananti Mamura. Fools disrespect me because I appear like a human being. They do not know my supreme position as the cause of all causes, the creator of the material energy. So this has been quoted by this disciple of Prakashananda Saraswati. This is regarding his personal form. Moving on. This is something not being quoted in either books. This is something I thought would be relevant to today's class. So I have just put it so that you can go back and relate to it. This is Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, text 2. Krishna is saying the supreme person, because previous to this, 12.1, Arjuna asked between the personal and impersonal, which one is more dear to you and which is more, more relevant or more like what is the best between the two? That's the question Arjuna asked. So for that, at 12.2, Krishna is replying, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. So he says that those who worship his personal form and meditate upon his personal form are the most perfect. So Krishna himself is saying, whom we are trying to reach. He himself is saying how to go to him, the best possible way to go to him. And then he says again in 12.5, for those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. Who are embodied? We all are embodied because we have this material body. We have a material body and a spiritual soul. So this is a weird combination. I have heard this from Amarendra Prabhu's class. So it is like, so we are embodied, and it is very difficult for us to focus and go back by meditating upon the unmanifested impersonal form of the Lord. So for us, Krishna says that personal form is the best way to go back to him. Next word. Then he continues, Shutrera parinam vada tahana maniya vivartavada sthape vyasa bhrantavaliya. Shutrera means all the Vedic literature, they are saying parinamvada. This is the transformation aspect of it. Like how Lord, when he comes to material world, he does not get contaminated. And the Mayavadi do not understand it. They call it Saguna Brahman and Nirguna Brahman. So they consider Nirguna Brahman to be higher than Saguna Brahman. Nirguna Brahman who has no qualities, the Brahma Jyoti. And Saguna Brahman is the one who has all the material qualities. They believe the moment the Lord comes to this material world, he becomes contaminated by the modes of nature. So this is the Parinamavada and Vivartavada. Vivartavada is when illusionary, you make up what they are doing. They are making up. They are making up. So it is the illusion that is called Vivartavada. So they are establishing that, and they are rejecting the Parinamavada, the transformation. Lord's energy gets transformed. Maya Devi or material energy, also an energy of the Supreme, the Absolute. They decry that. Eita kalpita artha mane nahi bhai, shastra chhari kalpana pashande bujhai. Now this is very important. I think I don't have much time though. Okay, I will try to go quick. So kalpita artha mane nahi bhai. This is the heart does not, the mind, the heart does not feel quenched. It does not get satisfied. This imaginary theories, it does not satisfy us. It does not it does not quench our thirst. Shastra chari, they leave the Vedas, and kalpana pashande bujhai. Why are they doing it? He says why. Shankaracharya and Prabhupada gives the entire purport on it. Why they are doing, so that the atheist class can be attracted. That's why Shankaracharya was doing it. He was covering the main meaning, and he was giving an illusionary meaning so that the Pashanda class or the non-devotee section or the atheist can be attracted. Parama artha vichara gela kori matra vada, kaha mukti pava, kaha krishnera prasada. Leaving the main meaning, they were busy. The main sutra, the param artha of the Vedas, they're busy in argument, unnecessarily arguing. Kaha mukti, where will they get liberation? And where will they get the mercy of Krishna? Vyasa Sutrera Artha Acharya Koriyache Achadana. Ei hoy Satya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Vachana. Vyasa Sutra, whatever Vyasadeva has given, they have the Acharya, Shankaracharya has covered it. And whatever Mahaprabhu is saying is Satya Vachan. Moving ahead. Then Chaitanya Goshai Je Kohe Se Mato Shar Ar Jato Mato Shei Shab Chhar Khar. Whatever Mahaprabhu is saying is the main essence of the Vedanta, all the scriptures. And whatever rest others' opinions are, they are all waste of time. They are of useless. Charkhar, they are of no use. Lord Chaitanya has conclusively established that Krishna is Satchid Ananda Vigraha, the form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, and that he is always engaged in his transcendental pastimes, in which there is all spiritual variegatedness. This is from the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Continuing his talk, Eta kohi shei kore Krishna Sankirtan Shuni Prakashananda Kichu Kohena Bachan. After saying that, he started chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This disciple of Prakashananda Saraswati, who was so learned like Prakashananda Saraswati, he started, after saying all this, he started saying, he started chanting a Sankirtan. And then after that, Prakashananda Saraswati starts speaking. Now, these are the five schools of thought. That's what the six Sad Darshan that yesterday Prabhuji was mentioning. Prabhupada mentions 5, and there is a 6th one too. So, since we are lacking time, we'll come back to if we get. Now, the Prakashananda, now next one, Mataji. Next slide, Mataji. So, Prakashananda Saraswati speaks now. Prakashananda Saraswati said, Shankaracharya was very eager to establish the philosophy of monism. Therefore, he explained the Vedanta Sutra or Vedanta philosophy in a different way to support monistic philosophy. If one accepts the personality of Godhead, the philosophy that maintains that God and the living entity are one cannot be established. So what he is saying, that if they have to accept the personality of Godhead, the existence of Lord, the existence of Krishna, they cannot establish monism. That, you are Narayan, I am Narayan, we all are one, end of it, we'll become Bhagavan, and all this juggleries cannot be established if we accept the existence of Lord. So that's why. Therefore, Shankaracharya argued against and refuted all kinds of revealed scripture. Next one. After studying the 6 philosophical theses, Vyasadeva completely summarized them in the aphorism of Vedanta philosophy. According to Vedanta philosophy, the absolute truth is a person. When the word nirguna, without qualities, is used, it is to be understood that the Lord has attributes that are totally spiritual. Of the philosophers mentioned, none really cares for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is being spoken by Prakashananda Saraswati. This verse is very important. Of the philosophers mentioned, none. Philosophers mentioned, he is actually mentioning Jaimani, and then Kapila and Ashtavakra, all of them, they are being mentioned. These are the philosophers who gave these different 6 philosophies, the darshanas. So of the philosophers mentioned, none really cares for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes. They are always busy refuting the philosophical theories of others and establishing their own. And for that, Srila Prabhupada always says that, a philosopher is a philosopher when he refutes other philosophies. So to be a philosopher, you have to refute others. Otherwise, you cannot be a philosopher. So again, from the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, it is written there that, but Vyasadeva, the great sage and incarnation of Godhead, has thoroughly studied all these philosophical speculations, and in answer has compiled the Vedanta Sutra, which describes the relationship of everything with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is, Sambandha, the execution of the devotional service, Avidaya, and the ultimate achievement, love of Godhead, Prayojana. The Vedanta Sutra begins with the aphorism, Janmadi Asya Ataha, which Vyasadeva explains in the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, thus established from the very beginning that the supreme source of everything is cognizant, transcendental person, from the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Next one. The impersonalist. The impersonalist tries to explain that the Supreme Lord's impersonal effulgence, the Brahmajyoti, is beyond the material modes of nature, but at the same time, he tries to establish that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is contaminated by the modes of material nature. In truth, the Vedanta Sutra establishes not only that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is transcendental to the material modes of nature, but also that he has innumerable transcendental qualities and energies. This is what we have described, that even if he comes to this material world, his qualities still remain. In the purport of Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada writes, like, our body is material, our soul is spiritual, but for Krishna, both his body and his soul is his body, it is transcendental. And that's why we see even at the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when he was 120 plus and minus, he was so beautiful looking. He was not wrinkly. He didn't have old looking, body, nothing. He was so beautiful. Why was he looked like a 16-year-old. Who looks like 16 when they are 120? Only Krishna. So that's why his body is spiritual. His body, his soul is same. That's what Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport of Bhagavad Gita. Now 7:13. This is also not there as far as I remember. It is something that I thought is very relevant to this topic. And I'm sorry I'm going over time. Please forgive me for that. So this says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 13, as you can see, deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. So Krishna is saying, I'm above all this goodness, passion, ignorance. But the people are deluded by ignorance, passion, and ignorance. So they cannot, if you're blind, how can you see the other person if you're already blinded, right? If you're wearing, and the better example, if you're wearing a green glasses, you will see everything green. So we are already wearing these glasses of modes of nature. We will see everything tinted, right? So Vyasadeva, because he is the incarnation of the Lord, he can show us, the acharyas can show us, because their glasses are not tinted, they can see the truth. Krishna says, like in 4:34, that only when such a person, when they can show us, I forget the verse, like Sadvidhi Pranipatena, yeah, there he says that because they are the seer of the truth, so they can show us the truth. But we are wearing these green, red, blue glasses. We cannot see the truth with those tinted. We will see everything tinted because our glasses are tinted. Our vision is tinted. So we are contaminated. Everything when we see it will be contaminated for us. We will understand only from that angle. So in the purport, it's a long purport if you want to read, very relevant to the topic that we have been discussing, previous chapters and this one. But I have taken only this much for the time, for the purpose of time and the previous one, Mataji, once. We're still on 7:13. The whole world is enchanted by the three modes of material nature. Those who are bewildered by these three modes cannot understand that transcendental to this material nature is the Supreme Lord Krishna. So though that's, as I was explaining, those who are already tainted by the three modes, they cannot understand the transcendental nature of Krishna. Moving ahead, next slide. So still Prakashananda Saraswati is speaking. By studying the 6 philosophical theories, one cannot reach the absolute truth. It is therefore our duty to follow the path of Mahajanas. The authorities, whatever they say should be accepted as the supreme truth. That's what we were discussing. So I will not explain again. And then it is said that dry arguments are inconclusive. A great philosopher, a great personality whose opinion does not differ from other is not considered a great sage. Simply by studying the Vedas, which are variegated, one cannot come to the right path by which religious principles are understood. The solid truth of religious principles is hidden in the heart of an unadulterated, self-realized person. the Acharyas. Consequently, as the Shastras confirm, one should accept whatever progressive path the Mahajanas advocate. This is spoken by Yudhishthir Maharaj in Mahabharata, Vanaparva. And then he says, Shri Krishna Caitanya Vani Amrita Radhara Deho Jai Kohe Vastu Shei Tatvasar. The words of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are a shower of nectar. Whatever he concludes to be the ultimate truth is indeed the summum bonum of all spiritual knowledge. And that was the last slide, I think, for you, as I did not say. And there's one more thing that I would add. But at this point of time, this is the last statement given by Prakashananda Saraswati. And who is hearing all this? The Brahmana, the Maharashtrian Brahmana, I feel. I remember that he was listening to this and he became so happy. He comes now because he has, they both, the disciple and the master, the spiritual master, they have glorified and accepted what Mahaprabhu was saying. And they actually practically left all the Mayavad philosophy and they were studying and, they were contemplating on what Mahaprabhu has taught them. And after this Brahmana boy reported this to Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu becomes very pleased and he smiles very happily. And for today's class, I will conclude by saying this, that this is from a Bhagavad Gita. I'm sorry that's not there in the slide, but I will give you the reference. This is Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 36. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, perfect knowledge received from the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the path of liberation. So the knowledge that comes from the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the path of liberation. So Krishna and Gaur Sundar is not different. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Krishna himself. And so what knowledge is coming from Krishna and what knowledge is coming from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the perfect path for liberation. With that, I would conclude today. Please forgive me for all the technical problems and everything else and the mistakes that I have made. So please begging forgiveness. Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhu vevacha patita nam pavnevyo vaishnavevyo namo nama. Thank you so much for tolerating me. And teachings of Lord Chaitanya ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. What a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful presentation. It was so exhaustive. Mataji, you did full justice to this chapter. So happy to hear this class. Thank you so much, Mataji. A few points that really stood out to me is when you started off, you clearly told this that our process of Krishna consciousness, bhakti, is neither Mayavad nor Sahajiya. So it is a mix. I mean, you'll have to have a mix of both devotion, meaning sentiment in one sense, and as well as a philosophical understanding, because as you always, as you quoted Srila Prabhupada's most famous quote about how if you just have a sentiment, that, what is that? Philosophy without religion is mental speculation, and religion without philosophy is only sentiment or sometimes fanaticism. So that was so beautiful because that was setting the ground for the entire chapter. Thank you for setting that ground so nicely. And then also the point that hearing and chanting begins with Sambandha, it continues in Abhideya, and it is actually our Prayojana. That was so nice. And one question I've always had in this section, which I wanted to ask, every time anyone speaks about this section of the conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Mayavadis, is when the Mayavadis, they towards the end, they say that Prakashananda Saraswati and all his disciples and everyone, when they are accepting that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you have given the right conclusion, so you must be Krishna himself, not different from Krishna. So when they are making the statement, are they making this from the Mayavadi point of view, or are they making the statement from proper realization that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna? That was my question. I've always had this question, but I've never asked it. So do you have any insights and clarifications on this?
I'm sure. Yeah, I have no answer to your questions, at least, and Kirtida Sundari and all other devotees' question. I will have no answer. But if I can speculate, they did not. They were calling, first of all, they saw the Narayan, right? They saw him as Narayan. And also, I feel, and this is my speculation, I can only talk from where I am. So it takes a long way to realize the things, right? Isn't it? Like it takes so long when such exalted personality like Shankaracharya, if he can get deluded, and they were like, I mean, I don't want to imagine if what we are hearing for years and then we hear something else, it will be so difficult to, change, isn't it? It will be so difficult to change the thought process immediately, right? So that's what I was thinking, that can the transformation happens all of a sudden, even if, they were seeing, like, Duryodhan could see that he is Krishna. They, in a way, realized, even Dhritarashtra, Krishna, the Vishwarup. But still, to realize it needs a heart of a devotee, and to cultivate the heart of a devotee, it takes a long time, or lives after lives. So that's what I was thinking, Mataji. But of course, maybe not an answer for your question.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just wanted to hear the opinions of how people see it. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much for that.
For giving the opportunity.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. And Kamadikim Mataji, you want to take over?
Hare Krishna, Anuradha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all praise to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for such a beautiful class. The class was very nice and easy to understand. I really like the point of Sambandha, Abhidaya and Prayojana. The way you explained about orientation and doing the work and getting the salary. That was really a very nice example that I've given. And also the process of devotional service is completely the same, the process, and that the final achievement is completely same. Like when you were giving the example of the goal, the person, I remember this example I heard from proper lecture or somewhere, like where the person is wanted to know what is gold, and he walks through the building, and then he goes, everything is gold. Actually, when he goes up, he sees that, oh, that's a steps also made by the gold. So everything is the same, but the thing is, you are telling that we were assessed before from the seniors, and then now we are doing by ourselves, maybe at the end. So this was very nice example you have given. And the other thing is, like, Prabhupada always gives this train example. And first, initially, I heard this example from Anjana Gopika Mataji of this train example, like light, and then the boxes of the train, and then finally you will get into the train. I recently heard my Guru Maharaj lecture where Guru Maharaj was saying this. When you go inside the train, you'll see many things. There's people sitting, chai wala comes, chai, 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 chai. He was just mimicking it. It was so nice. That is actual nice final thing that you see completely inside what is going on inside the train to understand what is Bhagavan. Yeah, very beautifully explained, Mataji. Thank you so much. Many points you have told, which is very easy to understand, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji, for tolerating me, and you have to operate on behalf of me, so I beg forgiveness for that. But then I could not help, Mataji.
No problem, Mataji. Anytime in your service. Hare Krishna.
Keep me in your service too, Mataji.
Parima Mataji, please go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. What
Hare
a
Krishna.
wonderful class, Mataji. And you say that you have not done justice, Mataji, that it only shows your humility and how much in-depth study you have done, that you could give so many references from the Chaitanya Charitamrita and the Bhagavatamrita and the Bhagavat, I mean not Bhagavat, but Bhagavad Gita. Mataji is so wonderful. I mean, it was a wonderful, wonderful class. And thank you so much for your association. I just got a thought. I mean, when I heard the conversation between you and Priti Vilasini Mataji about, accepting whether Prakashanand Saraswati could accept or not. And you said that, even Duryodhan had. But Mataji, Duryodhan, this is just my input. And this is, if I'm wrong, please, please correct me. They had that veil of rejection already in their hearts for Krishna. So these Mayavadis, at least some of them could have had, they had some reverence for Mahaprabhu initial, at least that, okay, he's Narayana and he's at least initiated into our tradition. So even if there is a little reverence, then Mahaprabhu is such a powerful, I mean, he's the supreme personality of Godhead, that even if you have a little reverence, it will become a transformation. That is, I think, my understanding. If I'm wrong, please
Agree.
please correct me.
Yeah, because this is a very controversial statement, but I think I can put the reference, but not right now, where Prabhupada is saying, in a way, impersonalists are better than, I mean, this is controversial again. I have heard it once from Srila Prabhupada's lecture, but I think I have read it. Hopefully I'll find it. Please do not quote me. But where he says, from the karmis, it is better. The bhogis, the impersonalists are better than the bhogis, because at least they have some point,
Yes.
have a
Yeah,
sense
they are
of
at some point. Yeah, exactly.
have this renunciation mood, but the karmis or the bhogis are there, they want everything. So Duryodhana was more on a bhogi platform, and they are little much ahead. You would see they are just, they are not accepting it as a whole.
Yes.
Saying is correct, Mataji, but if you see on the other spectrum, like to become a devotee is like devotee like Sanatan Goswami, whose association Lord
Yes, but Mataji, you do start from somewhere, so at least you can get started.
It's a long journey, so they have started there, but whether they have accepted as a Krishna or not, I mean, that's something is not.
Yeah. Which was wonderful, Mataji. Thank you so much for your association. Dandavat pranams to you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Parima Mataji, for your realization also. I mean, everything adds value. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anuradha Mataji, Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Shri Radha Gopinath ki jai. Mataji, you put your so much efforts. We can understand that how much you are reading every day, maybe 2-3 hours. I just try in a 2 minutes. It's difficult to explain in a 2 minutes. But by Srila Prabhupada Mercy, you explained from BG Shri Bhagavad Gita 3.33, the such a request of Lord Chaitanya explained of the Vedanta Sutra and request him to give a further direct interpretation of Vedanta Sutra. And then you explained Chaitanya, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained from the according to that direct interpretation, and starting with the Brahmana Sutra, and then you explain then you explain all the wealth, all flame, all wealth, all strength, all beauty, all knowledge, all renunciation from SB 1.11.36. Then his opulence are free from material contamination, and you explain the story of Mohini Murti. Then Sisi Chaitanya Charamurti Adilila 7.140. You explained Amendra Prabhuji's that light story, train. Some says this is light, this is the engine, this is the train. And then CC Adi 7.140 purport, you explained to expect the supreme in the full is the accept spiritual devotional service. Then Sambandha, Abhidaya and Prayojan, that you compare with the IT field, like introduction, work and salary. And then 9 kind of devotional service we hearing about the Krishna, chanting about him, remembering him, offering service to him, to his lotus feet, offering him worship in the temple, and offering prayers to him, working as his servant, making a friendship with him, and surrendering to him, of which hearing and chanting is the most important. Than CC Adigalila 7.1.42 7.143. If one develop his love of Godhead to become attached to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, the fifth, then you explain about the dharma, earth, calm, moksha, and fifth one is liberation. And the devotional service is the situated like a liberation. Then CC Adilila 7.1.42, hearing and chanting by the practice of devotional service. Then with hearing and chanting to improve heart of conditioned soul in soul is purified. That eternal relationship is described by the Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then you explain Prakasanandan Saraswati. He said Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a Narayana, Vyasa Sutra, Veda Sutra, Manorama, meaning of Upanishad, direct meaning of imagination. Then heart not
agree that Mayawadi's heart is not agree, but still they said yes, satisfied like that. Yeah, in a Bengali language, you explain so nicely all the sloka, like every day me and my daughter hearing Jaipataka Maharaj lecture that time, very senior brahmacharis as explaining that is your tune, Mataji. And then age of the just take the sannyas, then CC Madhya Leela 25.30, Brahmanda to hear Krishna, SB 10.14.4. You explain so nicely, my dear Lord, devotional service up to you is the only auspicious path. If um, one one I forgot, it's simply for the speculation knowledge, and then Supreme Lord, who is the greatest than the greatest, and then even very inspiration devotee because of his devotional service. So practicing, you give us such a nice example of doctor and the under trained doctor. The superiors, we are like a under training of senior Vaishnava. Our superior Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, and the doctors are the learner doctor are trained under the doctors. And you given us such a nice such a nice way explain about I have to chant in the beginning time, I want to chant, and now I love to chant. Service to hear hard, service to hear Lord Krishna, unlimited goal of human life. Then you explain Sambandha, Abhidaya, Prayojana, continued relationship, and the love to prajna is love of God. And lastly you explain, you explain this Sri Vishwamitra story. So and as from as Sri Bhagavatam you explain 10.2.32 prayers of demigods for the Lord Krishna in a womb. SB 10.2.32, it's difficult to write down because my English is little, the speed is not that much, for that please forgive me. Brahman has 6 opulence, and then fun of the pastime of here, and then Vigraha made of the matter part of Maya, and then offense by the Mayavadi, and Krishna as Apradhi, and um, and under the Vishwamitra story, you explain understanding that these living beings are soul, and the material world is the false. He These I will read again. I will make a note again. Then Sri Haridas Thakur and Lakshahira story. Then from last Mataji, this is from Sri Bhagavad Gita. You explain 7.13, dedicated by their moods of goodness, passion, and ignorance, Sattvagun, Tamagun, and Rajoguna, and Mataji, Krishna's personal form, Brahman prayers for Brahma's prayers for a creative energy, SB 3.9.34, and then Krishna says Bhagavad Gita 9.11, Bhagavad Gita 12.2, personal and impersonal. I'm not sharing all the details, and those and then heart does not be satisfied performing the service of Lord Krishna and Srimati Shri Radharani. Mahaprabhu say is whatever Shri Mahaprabhu said, that is the Satya Vachana. Whatever Shri Mahaprabhu said, main essence of Lord Krishna and Shri Chachidananda. And you explain about the Narayana, and it's going on, Mataji. I'm taking other Vaishnava time. Koti Koti Danvat Pranam to your seva. Please pray for us. We have a mood to serve Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, Shri Radha Gopinath, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like you observe in the Leela, Mataji. Hari Hari Gauranga Danvat Beta.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for your presence, for your wonderfully summarizing the entire chapter, which at the end of it, I forgot the beginning. But thank you for reminding all of us again, Mataji. We need your blessings, Mataji, and thank you for blessing us by your association. Please continue doing so. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Nobody is senior in junior in Bhakti. I need your blessing. Hari Hari Gauranga.
Hare Krishna, Anuradha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Wow, what a wonderful class and beautiful summarization by by Mataji. Oh God, by Vrinda Gopika Mataji. So Mataji, I really have to say you have given so many wonderful quotes, like examples from all over. And it's so beautiful how you are able to relate Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita and everything together. I really like the example also. Like Mataji has covered everything. I have nothing to say. Only thing I have to say is I like that example where you said that person with green glasses is obviously going to see everything green. So thank you for that. It when we think about it further, I mean, I get to understand why people behave in different ways. So yeah, thank you so much for the very beautiful class, Mataji, and please give us your very valuable association. You ask beautiful questions, so you have so much of understanding, and you keep on reading the scriptures so thoroughly, and and that all shows in your class here. So wonderful class, Mataji. It really shows that you are so strong in your back in your understanding of this whole Krishna consciousness. Thank you for the wonderful association.
Thank you so much, Indulekha Mataji. And I'm not strong, but I just want to thank you for your wonderful services. You, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, and our Kirtida Sundari Mataji, Priti Vilasini Mataji, and so all of you. It's such a wonderful. I call Bhakti Sangha as my Bhakti Janani. I know Ekadashi is supposed to be, but for me it is Bhakti Sangha. It is Bhakti Sangha that has kept me alive in Bhakti. I would say that, on screen, in recording, whatever it is, I tell everybody it is Bhakti Sangha that has kept me alive in Bhakti. Even when we didn't have any association, and now when I have association, I'll still die to hear the morning Bhagavatam, and now I get the opportunity to listen to the afternoon, mid-morning classes also. So it is all Bhakti Sangha is giving me. I have just whatever little bit of understanding with my tiny little intelligence I could comprehend. I gave it back like the oblation, Ganga water giving back to Ganga. So it is Bhakti Sangha's knowledge I'm giving back to you. And I do not study. The only reason when Mataji, gives me the instruction to serve a class or anywhere else, I do it because that's the only time I study the scriptures scrutinizingly, as Srila Prabhupada told, and my Guru Maharaj also told me to read Srila Prabhupada's books very carefully. And I feel I'm, and then he also told me to serve the Vaishnava. So, doing one service, I'm serving two of my Guru Maharaj's instruction and Srila Prabhupada's instruction. So that's the only reason, though I know I'm not qualified, but I get to serve, so I'm being very selfish here. So thank you so much for your kind words and your association, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. So nice, very nice.
Shall we end, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Is there anybody having any more questions for Mataji? If there are no more questions, we can end here. I would like to offer my obeisances to Mataji and all the Vaishnavas assembled on the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Hari Radha Mataji ki jai.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Dham Pranam. Thank you, Mataji, for the wonderful class.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's class. We'll meet again tomorrow.